I went from being a multi-billionaire to not being able to use my Apple Pay. 4 nights ago, I couldn't use my Apple Pay because somehow Adidas was able to legally go in and freeze my money. And when I see this, I think, well, if this could happen to me, this could happen to other Americans. I know that this will never happen again in history. There will never be a situation where people end a multi-billion-dollar deal off of a tweet. Gotcha. Gotcha. So I would like to thank everyone that was involved with this negotiation. Thank God no one was hurt in the process. And I feel free!
If this can happen to Kanye, then it could happen to anyone. In this video, Kanye West explains how he went from being a multi-millionaire to not being able to use his Apple Pay because Adidas was somehow able to freeze his money.
I went from being a multi-billionaire to not being able to use my Apple Pay. 4 nights ago, I couldn't use my Apple Pay because somehow Adidas was able to legally go in and freeze my money. And when I see this, I think, well, if this could happen to me, this could happen to other Americans.
But what could have transpired to make him so unbothered to say he was finally free from them? Let's go into details. Days ago, the entrepreneur, fashion designer, and rapper revealed how Adidas, the German company, was able to legally freeze his account. In this short clip, you can see the rapper explaining why he made it known he is running for president.
The reason why I'm announcing that I'm running for president is I want the FCC to look at my money. If the FCC was looking at my money, there had been a possibility that Adidas wouldn't have went into JP Morgan and froze my account and put a $75 million hold on 4 different accounts. I went from being a multi-billionaire to not being able to use my Apple Pay. 4 nights ago, I couldn't use my Apple Pay because somehow Adidas was able to legally go in and freeze my money. And when I see this, I think, well, if this could happen to me, this could happen to other Americans.
From his words, his reasons are because he wants the Federal Communications Commission, aka the FCC, to look at his money, because if they're looking at the money, there's a possibility that Adidas wouldn't have been able to legally go into JP Morgan, which is the American multinational investment bank and financial services, to freeze his account and put a $75 million hold on 4 of his accounts. Why would the billion-dollar company go after Ye in such a manner? It's probably because of his recently terminated contract with them after the rapper made remarks that were anti-Semitic. This was a move that knocked the musician off the Forbes list of the world's billionaires. The company even had to clarify that Adidas does not tolerate anti-Semitism and any other sort of hate speech. Other businesses, too, are seething over the rapper's erratic behavior and comments and have ended their deals with him in an effort to distance themselves from his harmful rhetoric. The tweet, which was deleted by Twitter, read, "I'm a bit sleepy tonight, but when I wake up, I'm going to DEFCON 3 on Jewish people." Although Ye apologized, some comments by his fans and viewers say that Ye purposefully made those comments to become a man of his own brand, and that adding, "I can say anti-Semitic shit and Adidas can't drop me," he purposefully intended to spark the termination of his program. This makes us wonder if it really was a smart move or the best way to go about exiting his contract. The future head of state, or so he calls himself, says Adidas stole his money, stole his designs, even hired and paid his lawyer to sign off his IP to them. Kanye exclaims that if a major company can do this to a major person, such as himself in public, then what happens behind closed doors? Ye is shocked because if it could happen to him, then how about other Americans, and for what? An American who didn't even steal anything or hurt anyone, and all for the fact they expressed themselves.
And when I see this, I think, well, if this could happen to me, this could happen to other Americans. And for what? You know, this can happen to an American that didn't even steal anything, that didn't even hurt anyone.
This hints that the rapper sees himself as the victim to Adidas. The rapper goes on to talk about Christ and America as a Christian state that should be ran by Christian guys just like him. The political side of him comes out as he says that the people need the opportunity to be given choices because people are afraid to do so many things because they feel fear of not having enough resources. He shares his visions and perspective on more life. I'm very much about life. I am not about death. The father and inventor continues with his semi-manifesto as he talks about better opportunities that should be presented to people when trying to take what they already have or what they are doing in food and shelter, education, and curriculum. He shows that he is a proud son of his parents. The 45-year-old sees himself stepping into his bloodline and inspiring people just like his mom, Donda West, did as a teacher. He says people have walked up to him in hotels, streets, and different places to express their hurt on the ideas and things he said out loud. Recall the fallout from his fashion Paris scandal on October 3rd when he wore a controversial t-shirt at his Yeezy Season 9 collection show, where he mocked Gabrielle Carruth-Johnson for her own fashion choices. Ye said that he apologized to the fashion editor over dinner and they agreed to disagree. So technically he wasn't lying when he said he gives them a hug and they say, the very things that you said and what you're talking about is actually being proven by the way you're being treated. But he just wants to give to a lot of people going through hardships. When we thought the superstar was done, he calls out Adidas for what they're doing with prices of things and their collaboration with Balenciaga and says, that's not right. They're sold for thousands of grand and they take the great designs and put in $2,000 box as to say it's only for rich people. That mentality is played out to what he calls a dinosaur mentality, and it will take only a matter of time till it backfires on them, or rather, hit with an iceberg.
And Adidas, to take what he's doing and put it inside of a $2,000 box, so it's only for the rich people, that mentality is played out. It's a dinosaur mentality, and it's only a matter of time till we get hit with an iceberg.
He goes on to say that there are people who scam, sell illegal substances, selling messages of death and other illegal activities just so they can buy a jacket of $6,000. He calls out the celebrities that the fashion world is using to display these outfits, but he doesn't judge or point fingers because he admits he was doing the same thing all these years, but was saved by God.
And how do we have people scamming, selling dope, selling messages of death in order to buy a jacket for $5,000, $6,000 and take all the celebrities and we push that? I'm not pointing fingers because I was doing the same thing until God brought me down to a place where I can really serve him. Because if I'm sitting on any kind of high throne that he didn't give,
and brought to a place where he can really serve him and be of great help to the people. Because if he's sitting on any kind of high throne that God didn't put him on, then his service to him is questionable. Ye shows that at first he thought what he was facing in the hands of Adidas was a sad thing, but after much reflection on the whole situation and all the things that were taken away from him, after reflecting back on it, he realizes that he's so thankful that it gives him the chance to serve God better than before. By saying this, he showed he wasn't going to allow Adidas or anyone to get to him, because his eyes had truly been open. Ye has inspired not just his fans, but other viewers too. Some even go to backlash on the paparazzi and how they make him seem crazy, a liar, and a bad person when truly he's just being himself. But Ye not only shows his thanks, but being who he is, he doesn't miss out on the opportunity to say, I know the people at Adidas are not going to have the best Thanksgiving. I know that they're not going to have the best Christmas. But even though they had stolen his IP, his ideas, his lawyers, the designs were still okayed by him.
All of the things that got taken away from me, I'm so thankful for that because I get to serve God better. So going into Thanksgiving, I know the people at Adidas are not gonna have the best Thanksgiving. I know that they're not gonna have the best Christmas. But if any way I could indemnify what they've done, even though they took that IP, they hired lawyers to sign it over, I promise everyone out there, those designs, they still good by me.
Because the rapper knows that by his words, people who shared his thoughts would not patronize him. He assures us that the designs were still very good and he guarantees it. And that wasn't going to affect how he takes care of his friends, families, and loved ones, but hopefully his situation will heal others. As though he's about to close up, he adds that he knows he will be the only one in his time and generation to end $1 million, where any celebrity or person in contract ends a multi-billion-dollar deal off a tweet.
I know that this will never happen again in history. There will never be a situation where people end a multi-billion-dollar deal off of a tweet. Gotcha. Gotcha. So I would like to thank everyone that was involved with this negotiation. Thank God no one was hurt in the process. And I feel free!
Is this a prideful statement or is Ye just stating facts? He then shouts I'm free with a wide smile, which shows he's genuinely happy. Like and smash that subscribe button to see more of Ye, because we all know this will not be the last time we hear from the rapper. Thanks for watching. See you next time.